Walls, immortality, the undying battle of extinction. Who would believe in sanctuary? Sanctuary. Weapons of lives are post-historic. Life is yielded unto sour ground. A desert shell is designated. A warning to you, the man and beast. Destroy it. Foundation. Tranquil place, the prophecy lives its hateful face. The wars like lightning strike again and again, separating the lamb from the wolf in man. No sanctuary. Survivors will rise from Satan's grave. The skulls of rivals lay in rows on the sand. The seeds of breeding spawn on the ways, creating war for the next war. Destroy it, destroy it. Foundation, go away forever. Immortally insane. Immortally insane. Immortally insane. Immortally insane.
What is happening, YouTube? This is Immortal Coil, your future minister of whiskey mysticism. Revolution is my name. It is Wednesday night, the 27th of October, 6:55 p.m. in Seattle, and it is time to get savage. Right off the bat, we got Random Brad joining us. Welcome, my faithful savage. Great fucking tune. Absolutely, that is Pantera, Immortally Insane. Something that we all know a little bit of something about. That was an outtake from Reinventing the Steel. and I actually made that video of uh, Darth Maul flavored video. I usually have some fucking horse shit to say, but something has come to my attention that I want to get all of these savages on, if I may. Uh, one of my buddies, one of my good buddies, Scott Sporking fucking News Podcast, uh, dickhead that he can be sometime, is streaming live. He's taken his dump, and there apparently is a bot that is jumping in his chat and doing a bunch of no dick, limp dick shit to him. Now, Scott deserves a lot of things, but he does not deserve that. YetiCast put out a tweet. I do believe author Stephen Walton has put out a tweet. Go ahead and you can look me up on Twitter at immortal_coil. The I's and the L's are the number 1. And just go ahead and retweet this for me. Team YouTube, there's a bot attack on Sporking P's channel right now. They are writing horrible things and doing something to get around memberships. Please help. Like I said, Scott can be a dip sometimes, but he does not deserve that kind of hate. He has clawed his way tooth and nail. He's got a great sense of humor. He's a fellow geek. He rose to the ranks, and somebody doesn't like that and is trying to take him down. So go ahead, get that taken care of like the savages that you are. Also joining us, Bear Nerd Fun. Hail. Bear says he was there. Well, hopefully they incurred the bear's wrath. That is some fucking bullshit. Some bullshit indeed, yes. Yeah, I'd rather like come on and have a good time and run my yap about like silly shit, but then people go out, start attacking my friends, and then we have to get all fucking rogue on them. It's crazy. You just saw Bear, Spork, me, fucking Final Death Star, Steven. We were all TR4, the Rogue 4, fucking whatever the first iteration of all this shit was. So we spent some time in the trenches together. It is not cool to go out and randomly just spam bot some people's shit because you happen to disagree with the stance they're taking or you're envious of their success. What's your fucking problem? You got a little dick. Well, go ahead and go rub one out and think about it when you're clear headed. Bear saying it's tweeted out again. Tag team YouTube. Yes, I am sure that shit will get taken care of. Scott's in a good position. He's not going to get deplatformed. That's happened too much in this thing. Fucking Ord's board. He's another good savage guy. He got deplatformed because somebody just came sniffing around. There are several bad actors who take offense. They take exception to shit that's going on that I don't know. I am I get it. I understand the frustrations when you're a small channel or you're somebody who thinks that you ought to be listened to or whatever. There is that temptation to just fucking get all vitriolic and try to go step on someone's dick. But you will find with our allies that our dicks are quite unsteppable. Quite unsteppable. So with that aside, we're gonna go ahead and get into the program, as it were. We got a crazy show for you. There's a lot of stuff happening on the Dave Chappelle front. We got a couple of the other rogues who are doing quite well for themselves. And we have a new fucking He-Man trailer that we'll be reacting to. And also this Alec Baldwin negligent discharge, accidental shooting, whatever the fuck. I'm actually going to bring on some guests to talk some gun safety for you guys because I am kind of surprised they're not jumping on this as an excuse to ban guns, but Hollywood, what can you do? So we'll launch right into this. The first story I found quite amusing, given that certain elements are trying their damnedest to get Dave Chappelle canceled. But Dave Chappelle is quite uncancelable. You will find this out quickly. Dave Chappelle, one of the greatest living comedians, and actually, that's a fine time to pull out the Savage Toast, whatever it is you're imbibing, hold it high. Join me in the salute. Here is to us. What is like us? Not a goddamn thing. And let the freedom ring. The Savage Show, I want to remind you, is not for children. This channel may contain strong language, sensitive subject matter, images, and content intended for a mature 18 plus or older audience, or whatever the age of consent is in your particular burg. The video does contain copywritten content, however, under the Fair Use Act, Section 504C2, Title 17 of the United States Code. This content is presented for the purposes of education and entertainment through the use of parody, satire, critique, analysis, and/or social commentary by means of subjective opinion. You have been warned. Put your kids to bed and plug the ears of those who cannot take several fuck words, because it's going to get savage here. Caitlyn Jenner, called out specifically by Dave Chappelle in his, I hate to use the word controversial, but his special, The Closer, which has hurt a lot of. It put sand in penises turned vaginas, and it tied a knot in vaginas cum peni. Is that how you conjugate that? Caitlyn Jenner, a slight, took a little jab from Dave Chappelle. He made a little joke about how she was Woman of the Year, but she had only been a woman for about 4 or 5 months. But she took it in stride, and Caitlyn Jenner, before she transitioned, famed athlete Bruce Jenner, who you might remember from your box of Wheaties if you grew up in the 80s/late 70s. Dave Chappelle is 100% right, the former Republican candidate for California governor tweeted Tuesday. And this is why you're not hearing about it, folks. It doesn't matter how LGBTQ plus you are. If you wear the wrong colored tie, they will ignore you despite wishing to championing you. It's that fucking red pill fucking bullshit. This isn't about the LGBTQ movement. It's about woke cancel culture run amok, trying to silence free speech. We must never yield or bow to those who wish to stop us from speaking our minds. Hell yeah, Caitlyn Jenner. Savage as fuck. I'm actually going to bop onto that real fast and give that a thumbs up on Twitter. I don't know if I was good enough. Yeah, look at that. I actually did something right. Gonna hop right in here. Find the heart. I always want to call it a thumbs up. And Caitlyn Jenner doesn't know me from dick. But we will reply to her. Thank you for saying what needs to be said. I wish that we didn't have to be reduced to biomatter on this planet. Sad, but true. There is an alternative, and it is savage spirituality. I will reply. She probably won't see it, but I don't give a damn. Caitlyn Jenner, you did something good. My fucking respect level for you goes up, as does everybody who comes to your words. Chappelle has been embroiled in controversy since his latest comedy special, The Closer, premiered on October 5th on Netflix. In it, he made disparaging remarks about transgender people. Fuck. And declared that gender is a fact, prompting an employee walkout at Netflix and statements of condemnation from GLAAD, Netflix star Elliot Page, and many others. Who the fuck wrote this? Rachel Schufelt. Because it's clear to me that you didn't listen to the fucking special, or you're just pruning words. That's okay. Dave Chappelle's gonna get his say. He always gets the last laugh. Netflix CEO Ted Cuties is okay Sarandos defended Chappelle, saying that his jokes were a matter of artistic freedom. On Monday, the comedian shared footage from one of his latest performances, which is going to be the subject of the next article. But have no fucking unclear thoughts about this. Freedom of speech is under attack. And it's interesting to me that Dave Chappelle is the target, although it's not the first time this has happened to the man. Dave Chappelle is one of those people that you would think the far left would champion, because it's like a black comedian made good in a white man's fucking game. And it's not about white or black. It just happens to be the fact that Dave Chappelle has that savage perspective. He has that eye and that ear for what is and what should be, and how fucking absurd it is that we're not standing over there in the promised land. We're over here just fucking wading through all these bullshit media headlines and taglines. It is ridiculous. Dave Chappelle is willing to discuss The Closer with trans community, but says he's not bending to anyone's demands, and he should not. This is by Elise Schaefer, October 25th, 2021, 12:40 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, when I was eating a hamburger. There's Dave Chappelle making his like I don't give a fuck face, his I told you so face, his maybe he's posing for Matthew Baton, whose picture credit this is. Dave Chappelle has spoken about the controversy for our British people over his Netflix special, The Closer, in a new stand-up video, saying that he is willing to meet with transgender Netflix employees or other members of the trans community, but won't bend to anyone's demands. It sounds to me like he is actually willing to have a human dialogue. Anybody's demands, and that is a funny spin of phrase. If you tuned in last week, we went over the list of asks that the they thems, and I promised to say it like this. Like anytime there's a pronoun, I'll say it like this: the they, the thems. The list of asks that they presented. It's not a list of demands, it's a list of asks. And Dave Chappelle's not going to bend to a demand disguised as an ask. There's all this like hostility that's cushioned in this cottony bullshit flower language. And it does not suit, the language does not suit the intent. It's coming in under a cloaking device. The article continues. In the video, Chappelle remained unapologetic, as he should, about the special, which was accused of containing transphobic and homophobic remarks, and led to a walkout at Netflix saying, "I said what I said." That's my Dave Chappelle impression. It doesn't quite sound right. That sounds more like Chris Rock, huh? I said what I said. And I can't do that. That sounds more like Cleveland. Dave Chappelle has that, like, he hangs out with Morgan Freeman. That should tell you how hard it is to imitate the man. It's been said in the press that I was invited to speak. Okay. And this is the content of the video. Dave Chappelle is going to say it better than I can. Where is this fucking video, actually? It's probably on the Caitlyn Jenner page, and I just blew by it because I wanted to dish. Ted Sarandos, walkout protests, blah, 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 blah. Dave Chappelle set some conditions. And then there's all the Twitter outrage. Here we go. Dave Chappelle. I want to make sure the audio is shared for this, so let me go ahead and take care of that right fast. Right fast, because you are going to want to hear this. And I should be grown up enough that I know how to share audio. Actually, I think I need I need some sort of like a technician to take care of this for me. But Dave Chappelle in all his glory. Let's hear what he has to say.
It's been said in the press that I was invited to speak to the transgender employees at Netflix, and I refuse. That is not true. If they had invited me, I would have accepted it, although I am confused about what we are speaking about. I said what I said, and boy, I heard what you said. My God, how could I not? You said you want a safe working environment at Netflix. Well, it seems like I'm the only one that can't go to the office anymore.
Impeccable.
I want everyone in this audience to know that even though the media frames this, that it's me versus that community, it is not what it is. Do not blame the LGBTQ community for any of this shit. This has nothing to do with them. It's about corporate interests and what I can say and what I cannot say.
Trying to take a man's right to freedom of speech away. Not on our watch.
For the record, and I need you to know this.
You go on.
Everyone I know from that community has been nothing but loving and supporting. So I don't know what all this nonsense is about. In summer 2020, when the whole world shut down, I was outside doing shows. My neighbor had a cornfield and he let me throw shows there, and people came from all over the country. Some people came from around the world to see those shows. The best comedians on earth came to my home and broke bread with me. And we lived our lives. We found a way to keep moving forward. I made a whole documentary about it. The first night of those shows was a piece that some of you might have seen. It was called 846, and it dealt with the murder of George Floyd.
Man was murdered.
This film that I made was invited to every film festival in the United States, and some of those invitations I accepted. And when this controversy came out about the closer, they began disinviting me from these film festivals. And now, today, not a film company, not a movie studio, not a film festival, nobody will touch this film. Thank God for Ted Sarandos at Netflix. He's the only one that didn't cancel me yet.
Ted Cuties is okay, Sarandos.
To the transgender community, I am more than willing to give you an audience, but you will not summon me. I am not bending to anybody's demands. And if you want to meet with me, I'd be more than willing to, but I have some conditions. First of all, you cannot come if you have not watched my special from beginning to end.
Very good.
You must come to a place of my choosing and a time of my choosing. And thirdly, you must admit that Hannah Gadsby is not funny.
She ain't funny, she's angry. Nothing she says is funny.
I desperately want people to see this movie, but I understand why investors would be nervous. Since nobody will touch it, I'll tell you what I'll do. I I will make it available for all of you in 10 American cities, going on sale in the next few days. You will be able to see this movie in its entirety, and you can see what they're trying to obstruct you from seeing.
Kind of
And you
sounds
can
indie,
judge
doesn't
for
it?
yourself, but you cannot have this conversation and exclude my voice from it. That is only fair. You have to answer the question, am I canceled or not?
Fuck no, you ain't.
Then let's go. Thank you very much, and good night.
Hail, hail. Savage Dave Chappelle. Who does not kneel? I know a lot of people who will not kneel. And you will not see that man kneeling. No, sir. Calling them out, drawing the line in the sand, say, come into my house. You are invited into my house as long as you know how to be a polite guest. Right? And can we finally talk about something as humans? Not as you and me and him and thee and they and she and let's have a dialogue. Let's be people. Let's be people. Dave Chappelle, perhaps, especially with all this stuff, the greatest living comedian of our time. I won't say the greatest of all time, perhaps the greatest living comedian of our time. And rarely do you see such a blatant attack against the First Amendment played out as it is now. But what's coming to fruition here, and what we've been going on about in the Fandom Menace and adjacent channels, is this war on thought. Okay, they want to come at you by telling you what you can say and what you cannot. And I'm telling you right now, thought creates deed. Action creates reality. Everything you see was in somebody's imagination at some point. And that's where the term magic words comes from. I ought to do something about that. That's the most powerful fucking idea you can have. Second only to I am. I am the most powerful thing you can say. The other thing is that Dave Chappelle is apparently moving forward and publishing his movie as an indie producer. And that is also something else we can get behind. We are a strong community of indie creators and independent artists and people who have something valid to say. And we cannot or will not or have not been allowed to work in the mainstream simply because our point of view is not in line with the product that the mainstream wishes to sell. And it's not even a product. It's like a way of thinking. They're trying to change the way you think down to its very fucking core. And we will not stand for it. Going to go ahead and pick on some of my friends here. I want to congratulate my buddy, Vinny Art. Vinny Art recently hit 1,000 subs on YouTube. He is eligible for monetization. I do believe he has the watch hours, and now that he has the bodies, he's going to be able to start making money doing his thing. Vinny Art's a good artist. He's produced several notable works. This latest one, Shadow of the Kraken, starring a very handsome fellow. I really like it because I think he actually drew me. I'm going to ask to play this guy on the movie adaptation. This is Nathaniel Kalin. I'm assuming he's a British pirate. Which I found out the pirate accent's actually just some sort of like a British version of a redneck. All right, that's enough of my face. You'll see me later. We're going to do a reaction to Masters of the of the Universe in a little while here. But yeah, congratulations, Ven. You're a good dude. I like your wares. Doing some good shit. Did he just recap? Oh, look at him. He He fucking retweeted my tweet. That's the Savage Show tonight. Lawyers, guns, and money. And then I also thought something was kind of fun. If you go to the actual tweet, you'll see that Parrot Head, he posted the Warren Zevon song. That's what I love about you guys. Nothing slips past your notice. Yes, that is a Warren Zevon song. One of the smarter voices in entertainment, if he's even still alive. Vinny Tartamella, Shadow the Kraken. Go get it on Indiegogo today. Also on Vinnygogo. Also on Indiegogo, my good friend Red Gaze. Trans fat is strong today. The Red Gaze, his epic offering into the sci-fi fantasy arena. The Sunsworn Saga, the second edition of Sunsworn, is coming out. Wings of Vengeance. Red Gaze, his pen name is Stephen Lee. Spent years building this intricate universe and this story. And he did pay attention to masters such as George Lucas and who else is in there? There's some Gene Roddenberry in there. There's some fucking Dungeons and Dragons going on in there. He did build a complex world. His world serves to anchor the story he is telling, a story with actual characters in it who aren't beating drums. Everything that you could possibly ask for as far as representation or whatever the fuck goes is there. It's just not a primary focus. You got men, you got women, you got lizards, you got amphibians, you got nanite AI, you got all that stuff. It's starting to ship. People are starting to receive their packages. You can still get Sunsworn Wings of Vengeance on Indiegogo, as well as the first volume, Edge of Annihilation. I really enjoyed Edge of Annihilation. I'm looking forward to consuming Wings of Vengeance and hopefully do a review video and all that kind of stuff, because independent voices certainly need their own platforms, and something as pure and as creative as as the Sunsworn Saga deserves to be promoted. You'll recognize the artwork. That is also Vinny Tartamella once again. Vinny Tartamella, formerly of mainstream comics, and a very, very non game playing mofo, if I may say so myself. I have had the chance to stream with him a couple times. He's fun. He's funny. He got some good impressions going on. And he's got some good allies. You know, it's like every man I see standing next to him is a stand-up motherfucker. You know, men want to be him. Women want to be with him. Red Gaze, Sunsworn. Good to go. Good to go. Shit. Good to go. So we are going, my dear friends, to do a reaction to the Masters of the Universe trailer, but I do have some slight business to take care of prior to that. We just want to make sure, again, the audio is being shared. Yes, everything's all good and well. And we're going to get into our Second Amendment discussion after these messages. But first, I'm going to go ahead and drop the link in my friendly chats that I am a part of. And if you know who you are and you can hear this or see this, you are welcome to come on. I just ask that you know what the fuck you're talking about and know how to have a discussion. It's going to be good. So, Masters of the Universe Revelation is infamously a name that will live in infamy. Maybe I should start up my camera. Start cam. What's happening, you guys? Immortal Coil, your future minister of whiskey mysticism. Revolution is my name. talking today about Masters of the Universe Revelation. Masters of the Universe Revelation apparently being dropped in 2 deuces. This is the second part of the deuce that was taken by Kevin Smith. This series has been riled in controversy as Kevin Smith has been accused of bait and switch and playing out of the Ryan Johnson playbook, where everything that is advertised is not quite as it seems, and you don't realize until you're into it that you're actually getting a subversion of your expectations. This series so far would be more aptly titled The Tila Show. That's the big fucking joke. Netflix is, of course, protecting this creative vision. It is interesting that we're existing in a time where Cuties and Dave Chappelle and this thing exist all on the same platform under the banner of Ted Sarandos. Is it a good product? I don't know. Let's fucking take a look at it and see.
We want to believe in an ordered universe. Some grand architecture holding it all together.
We do.
But alas, after all these years, I finally know the real secret of Grayskull. There is only power. And now, I have the power.
Joker has the power?
This is a new era. As the new sorceress, the bumbling idiocies of the past will no longer be tolerated.
The only way we can stop this sorceress is with another sorceress.
If we want to live, we're going to have to fight.
If I can tap into the power, I can stop her.
Soon, all of Eternia will remember this historic moment when Skeletor finally kills He-Man! What are we laughing at?
See, the sword is just the conduit.
So he came back to life. Okay.
That was always me.
No.
By the power of Grayskull!
Okay. And he hulked out.
The power is mine alone. Why did it answer his call?
Citizens of Eternia, we're in dire need of your help.
There is nothing to live for, merely chaos. And to chaos, will we all return?
Thank you for being my daughter. Now
You're welcome, Dad.
Greater.
Look at the sky. All hope is gone. Everything will end.
Find safe positions.
There are no safe positions.
Oh, there's one. Behind me.
Okay. Battle Cat.
Oh, you guys are in trouble now.
That sounded like Orko back from the dead. Yeah. Okay. So here's my thing, Kevin Smith and the masters, all you masters out there, is that I don't trust you now. You showed me a trailer like this back at the start of the year, and I thought, yay, He-Man. Maybe this is something I could show people. But it turned out to be the Tila show. And then it looks like Tila's going to be getting the Avatar state, doing her sorceress thing. I might be able to take that leap with you on a storytelling level, but just the way it's been gone about isn't very... there's no continuity. There's no continuity from the beginning. This is a flight of fancy that I would prefer it existing in a different universe. But also I have this feeling that perhaps the anticipation of the fan backlash was part of the marketing strategy. It's like, all right, we already know that there's a X amount of people who are going to feel a certain way about us shucking and driving these people around. Let's make that part of the thing. And then when they freak out, we can be like, that's just So it's like the joke's on us. Masters of the Universe Revelation. I'm not sure how to feel about this. I do know, though, that everybody who's subscribed to Netflix is watching. And this is our mythology you're fucking with. So what have you to say, Kevin Smith? We will find out. All right, I had to kind of shoot that as a thingy thing. Master of the Universe Revelation. I don't really. I can't say I'm excited about that. Makes me want to drink. Matter of fact. Yes, the whiskey will purge away all the evil. On to the big ticket item of the night, the thing that inspired the thumbnail, hopefully the thing that you are tuning in to listen to or checking out on the replay. Alec Baldwin, a name that shall live in infamy. He had a very bad accident at work the other day. If you have been living under a rock and you don't know what's going on, Alec Baldwin was handed a prop gun and it discharged, and life was taken, and somebody else was injured, and it wasn't cool. It wasn't cool. He has shown remorse. He has he is in distress. We know he's distressed. We can't really say that it has not affected him altogether. I do believe somewhere in his heart, he is a caring human being. He has a certain view of the world. Alec Baldwin is one of those. He's one of those. It's okay for me to make money. It's okay for me to make money shooting guns, but nobody should shoot guns. And I am actually quite surprised that the media isn't jumping all over this to espouse gun control and all that sort of stuff. They actually prefer to use child actors as opposed to adult actors. If you can believe that. Alec Baldwin has, there's like 100 Baldwins, right? And they're all actors. I first was aware of Alec Baldwin in Beetlejuice. I didn't know it was him, but later on when I started seeing him and other things, I was like, oh, that's the Beetlejuice guy. Yeah. Of course, probably these days he's more famous for making fun of Donald Trump. But the press, and I have this sick habit of turning to deadline.com to to read about celebrity death. Alec Baldwin, and this is a couple days old, you can see. Alec Baldwin discharged prop gun that killed Rust cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injured director on set. Actor questioned and released. This is an old article, but you can see here Helena Hutchins sadly passed. We can see the director, Joel Souza. Joel, my head is huge, Souza, and Alec Baldwin. This is a complete clusterfuck. As much as I do enjoy burgers, plant-based burgers are not burgers. Updated with more law enforcement information. This is from Deadline.com. This is penned by Anthony D'Alessandro and Dominic Patton. The Santa Fe Sheriff's Department has confirmed Thursday night that Alec Baldwin discharged the prop gun that killed Rust cinematographer Helena Hutchins and injured director Joel Souza on the set of the Western feature film On Location in New Mexico. Hutchins, 42, died not long after being transported to a hospital in Albuquerque Thursday afternoon. Souza, 48, remains in a local hospital. His condition is unknown. Mr. Baldwin was questioned by investigators and released, a Santa Fe Sheriff's Department official told Deadline this evening. No arrests or charges have been filed. Here's a full statement from the Santa Fe Sheriff's Department. Santa Fe County Sheriff's deputies were dispatched to the Bonanza Creek Ranch movie set of the Western Rust, October 21st, 2021, when a 911 caller reported a shooting on the set. The sheriff's office confirms that 2 individuals were shot on the set of Rust. Helena Hutchins, 42, director of photography, and Joel Souza, 48, director, were shot when a prop firearm was discharged by Alec Baldwin, 63, who was also a producer and actor. Ms. Hutchins was transported by a helicopter to University of New Mexico Hospital, where she was pronounced dead by medical personnel. Mr. Souza was transported by ambulance to Christus St. Vincent Regional Medical Center, where he is undergoing treatment for his injuries. This investigation remains open and active. No charges have been filed in regard to this incident. Witnesses continue to be interviewed by detectives. Deadline earlier reported that criminal investigators were called to the scene at Bonanza Creek Ranch just outside of Santa Fe, as sources informing us that a principal cast member cocked the gun, hitting Souza, 48, and Hutchins, 42, on set. The entire location went under lockdown during the investigation. The cast member, now identified as Baldwin, was unaware of the type of ammunition in the gun, we're told. A rep from production said that production has been halted for the time being on Rust, and that, quote, the safety of our cast and crew remains our top priority. Traditionally, the prop master or armorer is responsible for firearms and firearm safety on a set such as Rust. As information about Hutchins' death emerged, the Cinematographers Guild expressed shock and remorse. We received the devastating news this evening that one of our members, Helena Hutchins, the director of photography on a production called Rust in New Mexico, died from injuries sustained on the set, said the Cinematographers Guild National President John Lindley and National Executive Director Rebecca Ryan. The details are unclear at this moment, but we are working to learn more, and we support a full investigation into this tragic event, added the Guild executives. This is a terrible loss, and we mourn the passing of a member of our guild's family. Further on down, this isn't the first time an on-set death has been caused by gun-firing blanks. Actor John Eric Hexum was killed on October 18th, 1984 on the set of the TV series Covered Up, where he accidentally shot himself in the head with a gun loaded with blanks. And in 1993, this is the one I was wondering if anyone was going to remember. Brandon Lee, son of martial arts legend Bruce Lee, died after a piece of slug was lodged in his spine from a prop gun fired on the set of The Crow by another actor. Both incidences were determined to have been accidents. The very first safety bulletin adopted by the industry-wide Labor Management Safety Committee dealt with the dangers of blank ammunition. Blanks can kill, the bulletin said. Treat all firearms as though they are loaded. And yes, my savages, we will be getting into that. Hutchins is an AFI graduate from the class of 2015, whose works include several shorts and the lensing, the feature Arch Enemy, starring Joe Manganiello. Joe. It stars Joe. She was named Rising Star by American Cinematographer in 2019. Earlier this week, Hutchins posted photos on her Facebook from the set Our Yahtzee Solidarity Stand on Rust. There's the entire crew. That is an interesting and kind of sad thing to come to. I think I accidentally opened the wrong tab. But there you go. There is the entire cast assembled. Okay. Snowdub in the house. He's saying Hugs announcement tomorrow. You guys are going to love it. Ooh, interesting. We got Wookiee Supremacy in the house. He says, I swear to God, if I hear one more person blubber over that cinematographer, I'm going to go out and shoot one myself. I do not blame you, my good Savage. No. We are going to get through one more news article, and then we are actually going to talk about something that seems to be anathema to media. They refuse to talk about proper gun handling procedures and the things that make guns not the dangerous item, but the person handling guns. And we're talking about people who don't know anything about guns. They muzzle sweep motherfuckers. They don't check to see if things are loaded. We will get into that. This is that's me prematurely ejaculating. Okay. We got this next article from NewYorkPost.com, a terrible news source, and a garbage tier media. Alec Baldwin, assistant director, had history of unsafe practices, prop maker says, by Jackie Sallow. Now, I have heard more about, I didn't mean to do that. I've heard more about the events that be happening, the shit that went down that allowed this person to actually get into position where they were handling firearms on a set. And if this article does not say it, I will get into it, but let's give Jackie Sallow a chance, shall we? The assistant director of Rust, who allegedly handed Alec Baldwin the gun that killed Helena Hutchins, had previously allowed unsafe working conditions on the set of another production, a former colleague said. Dave Halls came off at first as an older, affable first assistant director with the unusual run of idiosyncrasies while filming Hulu's Into the Dark. Prop maker Maggie Gall told NBC News. But that facade soon disappeared. Gall, special effects technician and pyrotechnician, began work on the set in February 2019, said in a statement to the news outlet. He did not maintain a safe working environment. Sets were almost always allowed to become increasingly claustrophobic. No established fire lanes, exits blocked, safety meetings were non-existent, she continued. Gall recalls how Halls pushed to continue filming after the production's lead pyrotechnician had experienced a medical emergency and the set had become unsafe. She also claimed that Halls neglected to hold safety meetings or inform the crew ahead of time that there was a firearm on the set. There's old man Baldwin mowing the lawn and the deceased right here. She's not that bad looking. She is not that bad looking. I would, I don't know. She's what? She's probably a solid 7 maybe, just based on looks. I don't know anything about the woman. There is actually no reason that gun safety should be ignored on the set. Damn Skippy. Even when it is a non-firing prop firearm. Yes, you're making some points for me. The only reason the crew was made aware of the weapon's presence was because the assistant prop master demanded Dave acknowledge and announce the situation each day. Dude not even doing his job. A rep for Blumhouse Television, who actually makes some good shit, which produced Into the Dark with Hulu, said that they couldn't comment on personal matters, the NBC News reported. Halls didn't immediately respond to a request for comment on Saturday. There is the, it looks like tiny little toys. This might be from the Beetlejuice diorama. The Beetlejuice diorama. Yeah. Alec Baldwin. Officers responded to a call on the set of Rust near Santa Fe, New Mexico, Thursday after Baldwin had unknowingly fired a gun containing a live round, which fatally struck 42-year-old Hutchins and injured 48-year-old director Joel Souza. Halls had shouted that the weapon was a cold gun, meaning it was safe to use, before giving it to Baldwin, according to a search warrant issued Friday. No charges have been filed related to the incident. Production sources on Rust, fucking pop-up ads, said that they question whether Halls followed proper procedures before the tragic accident, the Daily Beast reported. Okay, so now that we got all that out of the way, we are going to talk firearm safety. We're going to talk Hollywood gun culture. And we are going to talk about the value of human life. The value of human life. Does that even fucking mean anything anymore? To me, it does. To me, it does. And that's why when the spin is weird, the truth is savage, my friends. I am a gun enthusiast. I am a gun supporter. I was raised safely around guns. I am somebody who believes in the Second Amendment, our Second Amendment rights. The Second Amendment, for those of you who do not know, is part of our Bill of Rights in the United States of America. If you do not live in the United States of America and you do not have a Bill of Rights, I am sorry for you, because the First Amendment and the Second Amendment are the only things keeping the rest of it together. The Second Amendment states that a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Many weirdos and bad actors and poor characters. I'm actually going to pull up a Second Amendment, the Constitution. I'm going to share it for you guys so you can get an image of what this means. Okay, I like this one. This is pretty writing. Okay, the Second Amendment. History of the United States. Believe it or not, the United States was not always free. It used to be a colonial endeavor of the British Empire back in the 18th century. Following some grievous happenings, the United States declared its independence and fought a war for independence. And for a while, they were kind of doing the libertarian thing, but then an actual law, an actual constitution had to be drafted. Nothing would be ratified by the states until a Bill of Rights was guaranteed. And the Second Amendment was so important that they made it second. Second only to the right to say it like it is. The freedom of speech, as it were. And there have been many attempts to turn the Second Amendment into something, to reinterpret it as something that it is not. Simply because, as the advisor to Emperor Hirohito famously said in World War II, that the reason that you cannot invade the mainland of America is because there will be a rifle hiding behind every blade of grass in that land. Simply put, we are an armed populace. And an armed populace, citizens learn to become polite very quickly, for they do not wish to leak their live blood or lose their life and limb, as it were. There's also an old saying that God created man, but Samuel Colt made them equal. Okay, the ability to defend yourself is a God-given right, or whatever you understand that word to mean. These Bill of Rights were not granted to us by the government. This is inalienable rights that we are enumerating as a nation of consenting, of the consented governed, right? We don't have politicians sitting on high wagging their fingers at us telling us what it is. We are granting them, we the people grant them power to conduct the affairs of state. But when it comes down to it, we are certainly we the people. We the people. Now, along with guns comes responsibility for guns, because yes, they are a tool that can, if mishandled, result in accidental death. But when handled with intent, yes, it certainly can cause death. So if you have the ability to take life, you must have a sacred regard for life. And you must know your tool. You must know your implement like it's the back of your hand. Like it is the back of the hand. I am going to stop the screen. I'm going to stop it now. And just sort of riff on this. I do have several links out. If those in the chats that I placed it in would like to come on and talk some shit about guns with me, go ahead and join me. Type on that real fast. I am trying to identify a clip that I should have had ready. There it is. There it is. I'm going to fire that up because this is going to become it's going to become very relevant very soon. Okay. Now we're going to share some imagery here. Okay. The first thing I'd like to show you, if it will come up, share screen, do a Chrome tab. We're going to show Mr. Jeff Cooper. Jeff Cooper was a World War II vet. He is no longer living, but he did help to found the Gun Sight Firearms Institute. And Gun Sight was one of the first places where you could go as a civilian to train in gun safety, in sort of urban combat situations, to where if the thing goes bump in the middle of the night, you're not just going to wake up and be scared and shake and be a prisoner to your adrenaline and maybe shoot a hole in your wall. You're going to train yourself to have a specific reaction. You're going to do it safely because you know your weapon. Now, Jeff Cooper, like myself, is a proponent of the 1911. He is famous for his 4 rules of firearm safety, which states, rule number 1, all guns are always loaded. Rule number 2, never let the muzzle cover anything which you are not willing to destroy. Number 3, keep your finger off the trigger until your sights are on the target. And number 4, always be sure of your target. And a often added afterword to that is be sure of your target and what is behind it, because this ain't no game, folks. Other pictures will show people who aren't firing their gun. They stand like this. This is called trigger finger discipline. If you're watching a movie and you see people walking around like that, it is because they are adhering to that keep your finger off the trigger, right? And especially certain firearms designs and I'm not just saying this because I'm a 1911 guy, but certain firearms designs, such as the Glock, the only safety there is actually in the trigger. It's a trigger safety. So your finger does not belong there until you're willing and have committed to destroying what's before your muzzle. Now here is my main point of contention for this accident. And I'm gonna need some beverage before I ride this pony home. Is that gun safety? You cannot rely on other human beings for your own personal gun safety. Regardless of what somebody says when they hand you a weapon, always assume, okay, we'll go back to it. The gun is always loaded. It doesn't matter if they say it's not loaded or I just checked it or there's nothing in there. No. The way that you check to see if a gun is safe is that you have to inspect the fucking bore, make sure the chamber is empty. If it's a cylinder, pull the cylinder out. If it's a automatic, rack it and lock it open. Look in there, drop the magazine, make sure that there is nothing in there. Right? Especially on a movie set. And here's the thing. People like Alec Baldwin and people who espouse the method of method acting, okay? People who espouse method acting are known for going out of their way to research the roles, right? So if you're going to be a rootin' tootin' gun shooting badass, you have to know about gun safety. Okay? The problem that occurred was because there was a breakdown in the chain of gun safety here. You had some jackass, and see, there's other details in the article that I've read elsewhere, but that weren't in the articles that I selected because I was actually selecting these articles earlier in the week. But apparently, there was a union presence for the handling of these firearms, and the union was dismissed due to a dispute between the production team and the union. And so they kicked them the fuck off their sets, and then they went and hired this Hall Yahoo who apparently likes to play cowboys and Indians on the sets. And when you don't respect the weapon and you don't respect human life, shit like this happens. And the price is way too high to pay. You know, no one should die so that you can tell a bullshit story that's probably wouldn't have made money, but now there's this big controversy, so I'm sure people will go to see it for that morbid fascination. They'll go and see it for the same reason they went and saw The Crow, although it's not nearly as going to be as good as The Crow. Or they'll go and see it for the same reason that they went and saw fucking Christopher Nolan Batman, and it's not going to be even as good as that. I actually don't have much faith in Alec Baldwin's ability to tell a compelling story anymore. And some of that is because I seem to know too much about him. You'll never catch me in a John Travolta movie for the same reason. You'll never catch me in a fucking Tom Cruise movie for the same reason. If I have to watch something like that, it's because I'm being eye raped. The eye rape, that sounds like a fucking Apple product, doesn't it? Eye rape. There is a very important video that I want to share. We're going to stop that screen altogether. This is from the Band of Brothers miniseries. The Band of Brothers was a miniseries on HBO, which followed the exploits of the 100th as they made their way into Nazi Germany. Okay. Now, what's following is a clip of the gun range where the safety officer has to dress down somebody for muzzle sweeping. Now, for those of you who don't shoot guns or don't know about it, or maybe you're showing this to somebody to say, hey, guns aren't really that bad. Muzzle sweeping is when you aren't firing the gun, but you move the muzzle past a live body when there's, it doesn't matter if it's loaded or not, right? Rule number 1, guns are always loaded. So check this out. This is a royal dressing down given in World War II, or this is historical fiction, but given man to man. This is when it was okay to be a toxic male. Right? Check this out.
Fire! He's fire! He's
Gunny.
fire on the firing line! You stupid goddamn shave-tail son of a bitch!
Keep your fucking weapon pointed downrange, or I will shove that fucking piece up your sorry fucking ass.
Don't look at me, Lieutenant. Gunny's right.
Next relay!
There you go. There you go. And to put it in context, this was actually an officer who supposedly outranks NCOs, but gunnies are historically hard-ass motherfuckers, and their job is to teach range safety and how to teach you how to hit what you're shooting at. But this poor sod, this unsafe fuck, rather, muzzle sweeped people in his line. So yeah, he got a face full of brass, and he's lucky he didn't get kicked off to latrine duty. This is the kind of familiarity and respect that you have to have for the weapon, okay? Because if you go and you ask a typical Hollywood fucking guns are bad weirdo, they don't know anything about guns. Everything that they have been taught about guns has been scare tactics. It's been boogeyman shit. When yes, you do have to have respect for the tool, but it is a tool. It's a piece of iron or polymer fucking composite that when in proper working order has the ability to destroy. And if you're like me, you'll get a gun and you'll learn how to take it apart all the way down to its rails. You'll know every part, every piece of it. You'll know how to put it back together. You'll keep it in good working order, and you will respect what the fuck it can do. Unfortunately, most of the time we get people like this motherfucker. This is Kevin DeLeon, a senator from California who was hoping to pass some anti-gun legislation, but he ended up sticking his foot so far up his fucking gullet that he didn't even have to shit leather. He could just take a shoe off from the other end. This is unfortunately this is all just like scare tactics and buzzwords. And this is somebody who does not know what the fuck he's talking about, but he is in public service, so he's allowed to say this shit. Okay, I'll play this video, and then I'll call attention to some shit that I saw on this, because this is fucking crazy. This is fucking crazy. All right, check this out.
This is a ghost gun. This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second. This is a ghost gun. This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second.
You're drunk. This guy is a fucking fool. Okay. Now I want to play this one more time, because I'm going to show you the difference between somebody who knows about guns and somebody who's just saying a bunch of weird words. So watch this again, but look at the police officer behind him. I assume that's the sheriff. Okay. The sheriff has probably been shooting guns his whole life. He has a license and he's probably armed at the moment. But listen, when this guy starts running his mouth, look at the look on the sheriff's face. It's just like, you fucking dumbass. Watch this guy.
This is a ghost gun. This right here has ability with a 30 caliber clip to disperse with 30 bullets within half a second. 30 magazine clip in half a second.
I mean, look at that guy. He's just like, oh, god damn, what do they have me back here? And he's supposed to lend a legitimate, like, law enforcement edge to whatever bullshit legislation this guy was trying to push out. Okay? So that is typical of Hollywood. Hollywood wants to scare you. They don't want you to be armed, and they don't even realize that they are the jailers. They are holding the keys to their own prison. Oftentimes, yeah, the chat's going nuts. We got Shellback, 30 magazine clip, huh? Decepticon King, he's losing his shit. You know, it just ain't cool. It's not cool. A lot of times these Hollywood people, they will espouse anti-gun rhetoric because they believe that guns are truly the problem. And despite their lack of observational skills, with the countries and the municipalities that have outlawed guns or severely regulated them to the point where they might as well be outlawed, that when you outlaw guns, only guns are going to be outlawed, or only outlaws are going to possess guns, right? Criminals don't care about what the law says. They're going to do what they do regardless. 30 magazine clip. Okay. So the big takeaways here is, number one, respect human life. Tantamount. You know, I would say trying to kill somebody is probably the last resort. The only way that I would ever kill somebody is if I knew that they were trying to kill me or somebody that I loved first. You know, I carry every day. I have a concealed carry permit. It is not something that it's not something that you do lightly, and it's not something that you wave around and try to impress motherfuckers. You're not that hard, all that kind of shit. It is something that you have a sacred duty to protect the weak. If that is the case. Okay. Most of the people that I know and that I chat with and that I communicate with on a daily basis are also gun owners. And as far as I know, they're not gun-toting assholes. You know, a true gun owner, and it's like this. It's the same thing with a martial artist. Somebody who really knows their shit, you're never going to know that they're even armed or that they know what they know until they make the real move. Right? It's not something that you should walk around and advertise in any case. You know, the only time that people should know that you're having a gun is if you unfortunately have to use it. You know? So, just to reiterate, Alec Baldwin, as tragic as that is, had he been trained properly in gun safety, those people wouldn't have died because he would have checked his weapon. He would have made sure. The director says, okay, it's a cold gun. Let me check. Just 1 second. We can wait 5 more minutes while I inspect this. Right? Good point, Shellback. The same people that have armed security live in gated communities. Yes, they do. The people calling for firearms laws, they're the people that their kids go to school with armed security. Absolutely. They live in gated communities. They have snipers watching them from the roofs or watching their potential opponents from the roofs. Okay. Now, I do want to share one last thing with you guys while I give my savage thought. Okay. The first chilling images of Earth, there seems to be an irresistible tendency to look back at home. This is a black and white image. 1966, the lunar orbiter sent back this image of Earth from the vicinity of the moon. Credit NASA. Okay. Now, the article is going to go on to say how we captured V2 rockets and we shot it up into space. And this is a 35 millimeter camera that happened to catch the planet Earth. But this is a younger planet Earth. This is before we had a bazillion satellites up in the sky. This is before space races and all that stuff. We were the only nation with the bomb at that point. This is planet Earth. Okay. Oh, Mashable, you fucking bitch. No thanks. I'm good for now. Interrupting my flow. Okay. When I talk about the savage perspective, what I mean is that your perspective is what is at stake. That's planet Earth. That's where you live. This is the moon. Who knows what's up there? This is unadulterated. All this shit, all of these news articles, all these things that get you thinking, that get you bubbling, that get you hard or turn you off or all that shit. All of that is simply, it should be simply used to inform your perspective. You should be fully cognizant and aware, walk in awareness, walk down the street like you own that fucking street. Look every person in the eye, announce yourself. You don't have to be loud or gaudy about it, but by God, the space you occupy, take it up. I saw a video this afternoon, actually, where a guy boxed a woman in the face and nobody did anything. Possibly because he was a black guy. He wasn't really that imposing of a black guy, but it's like, oh, if he hits the white woman and we hit him back, is that racism? Well, isn't it racism to hit it in the first place? You know, you got to think about shit like that. You got to think about the reaction that a lot of these news items are attempting to elicit from you. And if you have the reaction that the news article wanted you to have, guess what? They got you. They got you. And I'm not saying from time to time your reaction won't align with the spirit of the story, but you got to look at who's writing it, what their motives are, and what can possibly be gained from it. I remember early on when I was looking at all this Alec Baldwin and accidental death and all that shit, one of the first things that crept through my head was, you know, sometimes celebrities and people in power are offered up as sacrifice. And when especially high-ranking members of celebrity or elite are sacrificed, typically they will mark it or they will make it happen on a day like 7/11 or 9/11 or, you know, something like that. Their tombs will be decorated with eternal flames or what have you. And I was really digging hard to see if this Helena woman had like associations or ties or went somewhere or had some nefarious shit. Like maybe she was sacrificed for a reason. Maybe the Union was let go for a reason and some fucking Yahoo was allowed to hand a weapon to Alec Baldwin. I didn't see any of that. So I can't say that that's what happened on the set. But I also do know that that shit does happen from time to time. And to not consider it is as irresponsible as just believing it blindly. Okay. So own your space, walk your walk, talk your talk, mean everything you say, present your balls on every occasion. You know, don't let anybody cow you. Don't let anybody kneel you. Stay savage. And lift with me one last time. Your beverage of choice, and join me in the salute. Here's to us, what's like us. Not a goddamn thing. Like, share, subscribe, retweet this shit, and I'll catch you next time.